Hey everyone, it's me, Mia, and welcome back to another Well Aware Wednesday. Before we begin, I'm just going to let you guys know about mentalhealthvalue.com, which is this really awesome online store that sells a great selection of items that spreads and continues the conversation on mental health. And 10% of every sale goes towards a mental health organization. So you're not only getting a great item, but you're also helping out, also helping someone else out as well. It's for a good cause, and you know that it always feels good to do something for a good cause. So there's going to be a promo code called Mental25 that you could use to get 25% off of your purchase. So it's going to be within the description, and also I'm going to include it within my bio. Just click on the link. Click on the links within my link tree or within this description within this video in order to access that. So let's begin with focusing on taking a break. So we've been focusing a lot on creative thinking and how it could benefit you. And that's basically the theme of this month, about using creativity within with thinking and problem solving. And I went over the creative process last week. So now we're going to be reflecting on times when you need to take a break from that creative thinking. So when, if you're working on something for a very long amount of time, you're very dedicated to it, you really have a passion for it, but even when you have put a lot of effort into something, if you're not going to take a break, you're not going to be as passionate about it as you initially were, so to speak. Yeah, like you might be working on a huge project, but if you have all of that stress and fatigue and all of that negativity on you just because of those long hours, you're not going to be able to do your best when the time comes for you to put out the result of your work. So I'm going to be giving you guys 5 big benefits to taking breaks, and all of these are going to be presented from Psychology Today. And I'm going to include a link to the article that I learned about this within my link tree. So the first benefit is that if you move during your breaks, it actually would be beneficial to you both physically and emotionally. So if you're working on something for a long amount of time, I'm pretty sure that you are staying within that same position for a while. And I have no problem admitting it. It's something that I'm working on too. Like if I'm working, I work at my desk at work. I work at my desk at home when I'm working on the blog. And I am guilty of sometimes working on my bed when I'm working on my blog, and that's not very good. So when you are working at something for a very long amount of time, staying in the same position, not only does it contribute to some health problems, it could affect your posture, it could contribute to obesity, it could contribute to heart issues. It also contributes to negative emotions, like it could be fatigue, stress. Even I noticed that it can lead to feelings of depression as well. Just staying in that same position the entire time, just going on and on, staring at the same thing, and not moving, and hours is gone, you're not taking the rest that you need for that. So when if you are working on something for a long amount of time, just remember to just take a few minutes to just be able to get up and just move around a little. It doesn't have to be you could do a walk, but it doesn't have to be a walk. Sometimes you can just get up and stretch just a little bit, just move around, just maybe rotate your waist just a little bit, or just stretch from here to here. It doesn't have to be a very long amount of time. Like it could be about 5 minutes. That is what was recommended within the article. So 5-minute walk, or you could do just a quick little stretch, and it actually not only improves you physically, but also improves you mentally as well, which is pretty cool. So the next big benefit would be that it prevents decision fatigue, which is something I did not know about. So basically, there's always going to be a time within your day you're going to have to make a decision. And sometimes it could be like small decisions, like what shoes to wear, for the day, what would be good for the weather, would be, and sometimes it'd be really, really big stuff if you're working on a huge project that, he has to see which materials is used would be best to use, or, what would be the kind of people that be able to work best with. Like if you're in a position that you're making a lot of decisions, especially really big decisions, and doing it for a long time, that could be kind of stressful as well. They said, I actually noticed within this article that there was mentioned about a study that found that individuals in individuals that had taken breaks, they were more likely to make certain decisions than others. And I'm sorry, I'm being very vague. Like, to break it down a little bit, the people who are able to take breaks, they're like more relaxed, and so they're able to take the time to really look over the possible outcomes for certain decisions, instead of just going with something that's simple or something that's quick. Like when you're making a decision when you're kind of tired, you're always going to go with always go towards like a simple solution, and you're not really going to reflect on how it's going to possibly play out. So taking breaks helps with decision fatigue. It gives you a chance to be able to relax your mind, so when it's time for you to make some decisions, you'll be able to really look at it at a fuller scope, instead of just going with something that you think is going to be the easy, safest solution, but you're not really sure if it is yet, or if you're not really taking into account what the results would be for others beyond yourself. So, breaks help with decision making. Yeah. So, the third benefit is that breaks could help with giving more motivation, even towards long-term goals. So, as I mentioned in my previous article, and as well as my previous video, one of the 5 stages of the creative process, the second stage is incubation, which is when you step back from your brainstorming to be able to allow the ideas and the information that you have to be able to still work in your mind, even if you're not actively working towards it. So when you're stepping back from your work, you're not stopping yourself from working. You're still having a way of coming up with your ideas without having to completely just work tediously away on it. There was a psychologist that was in a study that was mentioned within the article that found that those who focus on one task for a long amount of time, they are actually preventing themselves from effectively working. And that it is highly recommended that you need to be able to fit in some brief time to take a mental break. And I mean a mental break is to take some time to not have to focus on something that you've been focused on for a long period of time, and be able to relax your mind and be able to let it to, not be so like constricted, for lack of a better word. And when you return back, you'll be more focused on what you need to do, instead of just, working towards something and, not really taking in what you're doing. So, fourth benefit is going to be that it increased productivity and creativity, which is something I'm really a big fan of. So one of the biggest drawbacks of doing an extensive amount of work without breaking is that, like I mentioned earlier, it contributes to stress and exhaustion. You're not going to want to be able to think or be able to do anything if you're tired, or anything if you just feel kind of pulled through, it's just feel stretched out. So, when you taking breaks, you are really renewing your mind and being able to prepare yourself to be able to go back more productive and more creative in what you are doing. Research has actually found that a lot of the big ideas that we get, those aha moments from the third step of the creative process, illumination or insight, those happen when you are taking a break. You're more likely to be able to get the idea that you're looking for when you're taking a break than you would if you're still working on that same thing for hours on end. So this makes it even more bigger and more important that you take a break whenever you are working on something. And finally, this is a brand new thing that I, found out along within this article is that there's a thing that's known as waking rest. Waking rest. It helps with consolidating memories and improving learning. So we all know that when we sleep, it helps with improves with our memory. I'm sorry, like not. I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. I know that a lot of people may not know this, but when we sleep, it actually helps with improve our memory. It helps with be able to digest what we know and be able to easily look back on anything that we may have learned. Like it does help your brain when you sleep. But a thing that most people might not also know is that when you are also awake and rested, it also contributes to helping with processing your memory, as well as improving your ability to learn. So basically, along with all the other things I mentioned earlier, when you take breaks, when you're in a resting period, you don't have to sleep, but you're just taking time to be able to once again step back on what you are doing. It helps with with registering anything that you've learned, and it also helps with being easier for you to remember that information when you need it later on. So I hope I was able to give you guys some new insight about the importance of taking a break. So, and creativity, especially creative thinking, it is a bit of an interesting process, but just like with anything else, creative thinking is going to be something that's going to do take some time, and it does is something that is practiced. And when you are doing this kind of new thinking, it is important for you to be able to just step back and use that second step within the creative process to be able to take what you're learning, take in what you're doing, and be able to better think what you need to do without putting that extra stress on yourself to keep going and going and going. That's something that I have that I don't really talk much about, but I do have that habit of constantly keeping going and going and going. And I want to be able to learn to accept when to take a break and be able to go back and be better effective of what I need to do. And that's something that I hope that you guys be able to do as well. Be able to know that taking a break isn't just like being lazy, or it isn't like defeating yourself from whatever purpose you're trying to get to. It helps to take a break, but it also is a way to not be afraid to go back to what you're doing, but be more positive and motivated towards what you're doing. I know that it was a little bit jumbled, but that's the experience that I learned from reading through the article and reflecting within it, and I hope that I was able to explain that a little bit better for you guys. So I hope this information does help you well. Make sure to take breaks when you need to, move around, be able to reflect on your decisions better, become motivated to what you have planned ahead, become more productive and creative, yay. And just be able to get that memory to register all the things that you're doing. All right, you guys, so I hope you guys have a very good night, and once again, check out mentalhealthvalley.com. I'm going to be including the link to the article, the Psychology Today article that I used within this, and I hope they'll be able to incite some more information towards you, towards what was reflected upon. So I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope to see you guys soon. Keep up with my links. Check out the WordPress link also in the link tree, and I hope to see you guys later. Remember to stay calm, collective, and creative. Bye.